Because the relationship is suffering, we need to analyze its effect, and we find out your emotional needs are not being met, or the emotional needs of the person is not being met. We have 6 emotional needs: love, significance, freedom, self-discipline, emotional awareness, and the need to know God. Now, the secular people or the half-hearted people say the need to know a higher power. But the fact is, we need to know a God who provides answers. I'll discuss that in a few seconds. Number 1, we all need to be loved. We have to love, we have to be loved, we have to feel that we're loved, and we have to feel that we're capable of loving. In the Garden of Eden, before the fall, Adam was loved by God. He had a perfect relationship with God. Number 2, we need to feel significant. We have to believe that we are competent, capable, worthwhile, we have value, and we have to believe that somebody else views us that way. Now, if we view ourselves as significant and nobody else does, then we're either liars or we're braggarts or we're in denial of reality. But the fact is, we have to believe that somebody else views us as significant. Number 3, freedom. We have to believe that we have a voice and a choice in what we do. Most people don't really dislike their job. They hate the feeling of being trapped, that they can't do anything else, that they can't rock the boat for fear of being fired, or that their opinion doesn't count as much. Number 4, we have to have self-discipline. Not only do we have to believe that we make good choices, not only do we have to believe that we have the freedom to make choices, we have to believe that we make good choices. Shall I pay the rent or go play the ponies? Shall I buy groceries for my family or another round for the house? When we exercise our right to make choices, our confidence builds, our self-concept builds when we say, I've done all right for myself. I've made some pretty good choices. Now, nobody's perfect. Nobody at all is perfect except one. So when we make mistakes, the problem isn't, are we going to make mistakes? The problem is, are we going to let those mistakes dictate our future behavior, rob us of our confidence, rob us of our ability to make choices? But the fact is, we choose, and we have to believe that we choose well. Number 5, we have to believe, we have to have an understanding of our own emotions. We have to be aware of what we're thinking, what we're feeling, and why we're feeling that way. Now, rhetorically speaking, let me ask you this. When I say chocolate ice cream, does that produce a good feeling or a bad feeling? When I say, yuck, something on the bottom of my shoe, does that produce a good feeling or a bad feeling? But if I say halva, a lot of you looking at me like, what? Halva. You don't know what to feel. Halva is a Jewish pastry. Now, this is important for you to understand, both for relationships and you counselors. You cannot have a feeling without first having a thought. You have to decide, is this thing good or is this thing bad? If it's bad, I'm going to react to it like it's bad. Or if it's good, I'm going to react to it like it's good. Yay! But you can't say, I'm so sad. And somebody says, why? And you go, I don't know. That's impossible, because you have to know if the thing that I'm sad about is worth being sad about. So understand this very, very carefully. You have to have a thought to have a feeling. So when you're talking to a little child, he goes, what's the matter? He goes, I'm just sad today. Why? I don't know. That's not a true statement. Now, it may be that he doesn't want to talk to you. It may be that he's too embarrassed to tell you what he's sad about. It may be that he hasn't taken the time to verbalize. But again, you cannot have a feeling without first having a thought. Finally, we need to know God. There's not a person anywhere who wasn't asked this question. Who made the sun? Where'd all the stars come from? And the fact is, we need an answer. Now, some people say they were just always there. Or science, there was a big bang and it just came out of nowhere. Or science fiction, our universe was created by aliens from another universe. Of course, all that does is roll the question one universe away. Where did they come from? And then finally, we have an honest answer. In the beginning, God made the heavens and the earth. Now, when we're talking about things, who made the sun, who made the stars, who made the earth, just about any answer will satisfy people who aren't really interested in the right answer. But when we say, why is this happening to me? What's my purpose? What's my destiny? What's going on in the world? Then we need an interactive answer. Science doesn't answer that question. Why do I love the way that I do? Why is there pain and suffering? Well, there was a big explosion and suffering came out. No, that doesn't answer the question. We need an interactive God. We also need hope. And God provides that hope. Science doesn't, science fiction doesn't, imagination doesn't, but God does. So, when a relationship is failing, one or more of these 6 emotional needs are not being met. My husband never lets me go anywhere. He controls the bank book. He controls the money. He won't buy me a car. That person is complaining that their need for freedom's not being met. My wife always calls me stupid. She just says, you dumb as dirt. That's where man came from, the dirt, and you're dumb as dirt. That's what Dad stands for, dumb as dirt. His need for significance is not being met. When you're counseling, when you're analyzing relationships, ask yourself this question. What need is not being met? Love, significance, freedom, self-discipline, emotional awareness, or the need to know God? Once again, let's take a little break. We'll put a commercial in here and see if we can raise a little bit of money. And those of you who have questions, feel free to see me during the break. I don't take a break just because they're putting a commercial in. We'll be back for part 3 about the lie that you believe in about 2 minutes. Thank you.
If you are interested in hearing about the issues of life that we face from a biblical perspective, then invite Dr. Alan Kitay to your church or event. His message and ministry is to provide solutions from a biblical Christian approach and help people see their positions in life from a Christ-centered perspective rather than a worldly, self-centered perspective. To contact Dr. Alan Kitay, call 832-419-0673 or email him at alankitay@graceccm.com.
Welcome back. Once again, I hope you enjoyed the break. I hope you're enjoying the teaching. Those of you who are taking notes, I hope I'm not talking too fast for you. However, the commercial, this is available if you go to our website and you want a transcript of this or you want a copy of this. We'll make arrangements and they'll give you all that information at the end of the show. All right, number 3. Now, here's the difficult part. When relationships begin to fall apart, there's a lack of a satisfying, significant relationships. The 4 core components are not met. Emotional needs are not being met correctly, so people find an incorrect way to get them met. Now, it's very easy to identify the relationship. If it's a relationship that you're having with somebody, you say, something wrong, you're acting different. If you're a counselor, they'll tell you what the relationship is. My wife and I are fighting all the time. My little brother drives me crazy. My boss, I can't stand him. So now I know what relationship is causing you problems. I can tell what emotional need is not being met just by listening to you. You know, my wife doesn't talk to me. My wife ignores me. My husband treats me like I'm stupid. Okay, love and significant needs are not being met. But here's the difficult part. There's a lie that one begins to believe in his spirit. Now, a lie that's believed in the intellect is refuted by logic and evidence. 2 plus 2 is 7. No. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. Oh, I was always confused about that, but now I see. If I can give you correct evidence, I can persuade you. But a lie that's believed in your spirit is resistant to logic and evidence. For example, a 12-year-old girl who gets raped